or go back in time and took a gap year, I would have just worked and like saved up.
Grinding at McDonald's, bro.
Hell yeah! Can I take your order?
The McCrispy? Got you, bro.
I got you, bro.
Put the beef
You
in
want
there.
that crispy or grilled? I got you, bro. You
Put
want
the beef in there in the fryer. Hey,
And we're back.
welcome back to another episode of what podcast is this?
the You Good Homie podcast.
It's just Jeopardy.
Doo-doo.
No, I'm kidding. So today we're talking about
Da-da-da-da-da.
post-secondary. I'm not sure if we specifically talk about like an episode dedicated to post-secondary. I think we mentioned it from the past.
Yeah, a couple times.
Couple times.
We are basically re-recording this episode because
My mic sucks. Or no, it was my fault.
We
I-
fucked up.
Yeah, my sound was kind of scuffed, but yeah.
But I think we'll have better insights now since we're more kind of gathered since we've already talked about this once.
Yeah, I think the reason we're talking about this because me and Ronald are in post-secondary. We're in a polytechnic.
Yeah.
Vince, it's been a while since you've been in school.
Since in 2020.
Yeah.
It's been almost 5 years.
Vision.
5 years, bro.
Yeah. So yeah, we're here talking about post-secondary, how we feel about it, especially because for me, it's my second time going around being in school.
Same.
Ronald,
Second time around.
second time
Yeah.
going around school, so we're gonna kind of talk about it, whatever.
Yeah.
How do you guys feel about no, not social media, like post-secondary now? Do you guys enjoy it? I mean, especially for Ronald, there's no question for Ronald.
Yeah. I honestly enjoy my post-secondary experience a lot. I think going to post-secondary the first time kind of really taught me what I was doing wrong. But I also feel like I could have learned that like if I had just taken my time. Honestly, just really enjoy my post-secondary experience. In my particular program, we're the first stream ever to kind of like do this particular program. So we're kind of like they call us like the trailblazers, but essentially we're just guinea
Portland.
pigs for
Portland Trailblazers. Yo, big.
Essentially we're just guinea pigs for them to really refine the program. But honestly,
you're an early adopter.
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
an
yeah.
early
Early
adopter.
but I really do love what I do in at SATE. It like helps me get like it's just super engaging, and it's like something that I've genuinely become very passionate about in the last I'd say like 2 to 3 years.
Tell us about your program. Like, what are you doing, and like, what do you like about it?
So I am a user experience major. So I deal with essentially everything user interface, user experience, and graphic wise in terms of a brand. So I work on websites, I work on front end development, and I essentially go in and tell you if your customer experience is shit or not. And then I help you improve it through prototyping, wireframing, and through my own coding and stuff. I don't necessarily do a lot of like back-end coding like computer science majors do. That's why I'm only like a 2-year program. But it's very much more design focused. So we learn a lot more graphic design. We learn a lot, obviously like front-end coding, but user experience is what I specialize in. So yeah, a lot of like talking to people, which like I really do like doing, obviously. But it's a lot of like talking to the customer and being very like client facing in
Nice.
terms of like the corporate world. To sum it up, to make it simple, I am a corporate like essentially graphic designer.
Nice.
Like that's what I call it.
Corporate girly.
Corporate girly.
girl boss.
Girl boss. He's a girl boss.
Girl boss
All right,
graphic
Jason, swinging it to you, bro.
design. Yeah. So right now, currently, I'm doing dental assisting at the Polytechnic that Ronald is at. It's good. I mean, not much to explain. I just work with mouth.
Yeah.
The mouth.
Yeah. So I'm in a semester where we're actually working on actual patients. So either I bring in like a family member or we do it on each other as students. And so I get to stick my finger into someone else's mouth. Very nice, very nice. It's all right because like, so what I've heard is that they wanted to make the program 2 years in Edmonton, and in other places it's 2 years originally, and I think it was 2 years for us as well, but they shortened it to basically like 10 months to fast track. To compensate for that, I have to take 7 classes a semester. So I'm getting my ass kicked. Like literally after this, I probably have to study. Like it's
It's that.
Damn.
Yeah.
but
Oh, yeah.
employment rate's pretty high, and I think it's pretty worth it. Um, Vince, you want to tell what you went for school for and what you did?
Yeah. So I went to school right away after high school. Like straight out of high school, I went into engineering. Um, and then I chose. So basically, how it works in the university that I went to is basically the first year is kind of Common Core, where you learn everything about engineering, all the fields, electrical, mechanical, chemical, and then you kind of use that um, as a basis to inform your choice of what field you want to go into.
Mm.
So I chose chemical because
He wants to make shampoos.
I like chemistry.
The
In high
transition where
school.
you had like, fuck, it's too pink.
Yeah,
Ah.
that's right.
No.
I failed my lab assignment.
Fuck. Why?
It was off by 0.01, bro. I'm so glad I don't have to fucking work in moles anymore. Holy
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah, I don't know. The basis of choosing chemical engineering, I didn't really have a basis for it. Like people ask me, oh, like why did you choose? They expect the answer like, oh, I really,
Because vibes, bro.
I
Yeah.
want to work in oil and gas.
I
or
wanted to
wanna-
work in oil and gas, and
I
I,
wanna-
love shampoo
I wanna
testing.
shake
And
their hand.
Yeah, I was just like, I like chemistry in high school. That's pretty much it. And yeah, since so I did that for 3 additional years. I graduated in 2020. I did an internship in the middle of that for a year. And got hired back at the company I interned at when I graduated. So unfortunately, I graduated during COVID, which really sucked.
Oh.
My last semester was at the kind of like the peak of COVID.
Yeah, really right in the
like-
middle of it, bro.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like January 2020 to March 2020 was like my last semester. And I had to miss graduation, and like we were like the first kind of like group to have done like classes online when they're not usually online in university. So that was kind of weird, but it was nice not having to wake up and take the 1 hour and half journey.
Oh, because you transited university.
Yeah, I had to transit. So yeah, that was my university experience. I've been out of it for about 4 years now in the workforce.
Working man.
Working man.
Yeah,
My
well, guys,
dog.
would you guys
My dog.
would you guys recommend like university post secondary for people watching, for youngins, or
It's a good question, and it's a complicated question
it's a
because
loaded question?
you really need to know what you're getting into when
Yeah.
you apply for post secondary. One of the challenges like people face when coming out of high school is they don't really know what to expect. They just think like, well, at least from my experience, my personal experience, going to university, I just thought like, oh, it's just gonna be another extension of high school. You know, it's
It's not. It's
It's
not.
just-
It's not.
It's not. It's really not. It's like 10 times, 100 times more intense, and
It's so much worse.
I hated my life during like first year when I kind of had the culture shock of transitioning from high school to university. And when you're in high school, when you're a senior or you're in grade 12, from my experience, I don't know how it is now, but the information that's given to you about university is very superficial. Like, here are the programs.
Yup.
Here's what you need to get into. This is the kind of careers. They don't really tell you about like what life is really like.
All the suffering you endure.
Yeah. So, I would say like really, be conscious about the decision you make, and whether going to university is right for you, or maybe going to another type of school like a college or a polytechnic,
Polytechnic like us. Yeah.
or maybe like a trade school,
Yeah.
or I don't know, maybe not going at all.
Yeah.
Maybe you want to take a year off.
vibing, bro.
That's an
Yeah.
option.
It's a good lead up to me.
Yeah,
But,
what's your take, Ronald?
I think it very much, I do believe that post secondary, whether you're going to a polytechnic college or a university, opens up a lot of avenues for you. But you
Yeah.
need to genuinely be ready to go back to school. And I tell this all the time. And I will open up about the turbos. So myself, Lawrence, and Kayla, we actually all Lawrence and Kayla are my younger siblings, if you guys don't already know. But we all took time off before going back to school. Kayla's actually still taking time off before she goes back to school. She doesn't quite know what she wants to do.
I wish I took them off.
Lawrence took a couple years off. I took 1 year off, and I honestly wish I took off longer. But it's like you feel that pressure from the people around you, right?
Mhm.
But I will say now that I'm in a program where I'm really passionate about what I do and like I know that I'm going to be successful in this field, it opens up a multitude of avenues for you to like further your professional development. Because at the end of the day, university is for professional development, is for you to get a job,
Yeah.
be in the workforce, stuff like that. So my big thing is like it opens up a lot of avenues, but you really, really need to know what you want to do. The first time I went into university, I crashed out really hard. I transferred like 3 times. I went into biosci, then I went into natural sciences, and then I went into business, and I crashed out all 3 times. I hated my life. I hated school. I hated what I was doing. And I couldn't get past like second year for most of them, and I wasn't really realizing why. And it's because I just wasn't committed to it. I really wanted to try to make dance a career at the time, and honestly, I should have tried and realized that like how dance really wasn't a prospect for me at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Especially being like a Filipino dancer from Calgary that has no intention of moving to Vancouver.
Mhm.
That was just like it was a big hold me back factor in terms of like finding a career
You had to move
in
to
dance.
Entertainment City to
Yeah.
actually
Yeah,
pursue.
like you would have to move to Vancouver or Toronto or at the very least like a Montreal. It's really, really hard to be a dancer here in Calgary unless you're a teacher or you own a studio or you want to teach little kids for the rest of your life. It's just not something that I was super interested in. And you know, uh I will say like follow what is really interesting you at the moment. Um but like take time to really figure out if you want to pursue that, whether it is dance or whether it is like being a dental hygienist or it is tattooing, because I know a lot of homies, they went to school, like actually my tattoo artist, he went to school for architecture and then actually dropped out and became a tattoo artist because that's what he wanted to do for the rest of his life. And
Yeah.
like that's dope. Like but like also like I wish people had just taken the time to be like, okay, like let me explore all my options, let me try it out, and then let me decide. And I feel like you shouldn't really like give in to the peer pressure that your parents or your peers give you. So to sum it all up, after that super long-winded story and experience, take your time. Um, but I will say school opens up a lot of doors for you, opens up a lot of avenues, but just really, really try to figure out what you want to do going forward. So take time off. Take time off.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess when it comes to recommending post secondary, it is very much a loaded question. I think I shared this. I mean, the last recording we did that got lost. I was like, yeah, like my take is that like people should be going as a standard going to university at 20 instead of at 18.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I think it's a lot easier if you're maybe a little younger. Listen to this, like it's like, dude, and I experienced this, and I think you guys might experience this too. Of the idea of like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing at this age. I don't know what I like, or even if I do like something, I'm not sure if that's like if I should kind of pursue this such a thing. Um, my take on university is that like it depends on what you're planning to do. If it's something like fine arts, such as music or dance, or like
Painting,
something
stuff like
more
that.
entrepreneur, I would say. Maybe you can even go for school for business, whatever. But things that require you to do a little more like fine artsy stuff per se, like
Mm.
maybe like a painter. I don't know. Maybe you can go to university for that stuff, but I think like you would maybe want to go to, I don't know, maybe like art school, or even if you can make it without, like just pay
Yeah.
for independent businesses that offer like such, like for example like dance camps or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's also like trades jobs, so like plumbing,
Yeah. Electrician.
electrician. For me, it was dental assisting, so it's more hands on. But also, yeah, I think one of the things I always want to reiterate is that like the idea of not being coerced by your family. It is kind of bleeding into another question, but like most people kind of, at least for one of my experience of like talking to parents or listening to parents, like, oh yeah, like, they tell their kids, just do something. I just want you to do something, just for the idea of like, their kid not being a failure. But I always think that sometimes it also kind of might lead to the wrong kind of like path per se.
Yeah.
Really just being generous to yourself and taking a year off or taking 2 years off. Not necessarily to be a bum and not to like do nothing. Like basically take your time, don't waste your time. What I recommend is that you can either work through those years and then if you kind of figure out like later you can, pick something. But for me, like in terms of the utility of a university or any post secondary, actually doing something that you're gonna use, or at least have like good confidence you're gonna use. Because I find that if you tell yourself, I'm just doing it for the sake of my parents, or you might not even admit that to yourself, like you're gonna shoot yourself in the foot. Like I think just
Yeah.
going for the sake of going is not gonna help you. It's very common, like very common. I find that, like especially even in my program, like where 18-year-olds who just finished high school kind of go through the program and like, oh, I don't actually really want to do this. I kind of just did it, and then they just drop out and they waste a lot of money. You don't want to be that person who kind of has unnecessary debt to pay. So if you do something, just be more sure of yourself. And if you're not sure, then take the time just to work, build some money, just so you're not in debt like the rest of society. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
one of the things I wish I did when I left high school. Even though I kind of already knew I wanted to go into a STEM field, is take a gap year.
He was a STEM girly.
Yeah, I just like,
Filipinos in STEM.
yeah, I don't know,
real.
like,
Sorry.
Nurses, engineers.
if I
doctors.
if I had or go back in time and took a gap year, I would have just worked and like saved up. for
Grinded
it.
at McDonald's, bro.
Hell yeah! Can I take your order?
The McCrispy? I got you, bro.
I got you, bro.
beef
Yo,
in
you
it.
want that crispy or grilled? I got you, bro. You
Put
want
the
the
beef in the fryer.
Yeah, I would have just grinded and like saved up my money
Yeah.
and grown up a little bit because like
Yeah.
university at the end of the day, it's not for kids. Like
Dude,
I
it's-
think high school, like
you
you're-
gotta be mature for it.
yeah,
for sure.
in high school, even though if you're like a senior or in grade 12, you're still treated like a kid because, like for example, you still need permission to go to the washroom.
Yeah.
Like if you miss class, they still call
yeah.
and say you missed class.
Oh
Stuff
yeah,
like that.
I forgot. Yeah.
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 So used to not be micromanaged that like.
Yeah. But in university, it's one of the biggest things that the biggest differences between high school and university is they treat you like an adult. So you have to be responsible for your own education. They don't care if you skip class or if you like hand an assignment late. They're not gonna hunt you down. They're just gonna take marks off or you miss what you miss, right?
Yeah.
So it's on you. So that's why I think a gap year to kind of like mature a little bit, become an actual adult. Like
Mm.
I support the thing where you said, university should start at like 20 because then you've had some time to get out of your like high school mindset, and kind of take ownership of your own life a little bit. So yeah, I think that's what I would have done
Yeah.
if I
I
go
guess,
back, take a gap year.
I guess because maybe the social expectation is it's just your parents that kind of instill in their kids like, oh, you need to keep going. Like, there's
Yeah.
To keep going.
Yeah,
There's
like you
any-
got to keep the momentum going in their eyes.
it's
You know
like
what I
there's
mean?
something
Yeah.
to be working towards, and like if you just stop, then like it's kind of, I guess maybe it might be perceived as like failure or just laziness, right?
Yeah.
But like, dude, I really wish I just had time to think.
Yeah.
A lot of the like wasted money or wasted time was because I just didn't know better,
Yeah.
because I just kind of acted irrationally. Like I think I used an analogy before where it's like you wouldn't ask a 12-year-old to take out a student loan, right?
Yeah.
But you might ask like a 25-year-old, right? So like
Yeah.
it's because they're of more sound mind to make such a decision, right? Because
Mhm.
they have more life experience. So I guess like the point is like where is the point where one should be able to make such a grand decision? Because this is your life.
Yeah.
It's not just like,
Yeah.
oh, like I'm gonna try rock climbing for a little bit, see if I like it. No,
Yeah.
this is like your life
Yes,
decision,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So when it comes to like post secondary, just the idea of like not saying to drop out, not do anything. I actually would encourage to be educated. Like I very much have
Very much.
people
Yeah.
going to
You learn a lot
post-secondary,
of things.
but just like being a little more sure that when you go into something, you're gonna use it. I think it's easy to be like, oh, I'm kind of interested in this, but sometimes like it might shoot you in the foot, and then you might not like it, and then you kind of wasted like depending on the program, like 12 grand to 20 grand, depending how expensive
Yeah.
the program
Yeah.
is. Just like it, you will be I'm sorry, you will be shamed a lot by like surrounding family members,
Yeah.
but just like at least you won't be like in so much debt.
Yeah.
Because that's the one thing I kind of wish I did.
You
And
won't be
also,
miserable later. Yeah.
yeah, and
Yeah.
also and also like I don't know, just having the time to enjoy life before it starts to pick up the pace. Because once university hits, for myself personally, it's never stopped. Even
Yeah.
after
No.
I graduated or I finished, or even now I'm back in school, it's always like, oh, I gotta do something. Yeah, so just
Yeah.
really, I'm a big advocate. Just indulge in like this kind of gap period if you can.
Yeah.
Of course, I can't afford it because now obviously everyone has the same situation. Like, because you need to work right away, and that obviously is understandable. But if you have that privilege, I would recommend to you to
Oh,
definitely use
yeah.
it. Yeah.
I think that kind of leads into this kind of question I have now. Um, how did you guys experience that like life change going from high school to university, and like how was that big for you? Because I think we talked a lot about taking that gap year, becoming more mature, but like in your experience, how did you find like that change for
The
you?
transition.
You know what I
I'm
mean?
gonna ask what. Do you want to go?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of rough because in high school you had all your friends still with
Mhm.
you,
Yeah.
but then
Proximity.
yeah,
Yeah.
proximity, and then like when you, it's kind of like when you're transitioning from junior high to high school, but it's more pronounced because
Yeah.
people actually move out of city, out of province, maybe out of country to go to different
University.
universities.
Yeah.
So it's like that high school is probably like the last time you'll ever see some of those people.
Mm-hmm.
So it was hard to kind of like lose that group of friends that I had in high school.
Yeah.
And then in terms of like the transition, in terms of like the education and the stuff that I was learning, man, it was tough.
It's hard,
Holy
bro.
fuck,
It's
dude.
hard, bro.
Like
People don't
in,
tell you, but it's hard.
in high school, when you're like, I guess in the smart group, or like if you're taking IB or AP,
Like advanced classes or
yeah,
whatever.
like advanced
Oh,
classes,
you're just a
like,
fucking nerd. Yeah.
you're like you're like top of the class and like, you understand everything. But in university, it's kind of like you're. I would akin it to the analogy of like big fish in a small pond in high school, and then in university you're like a big fish in a fucking humongous ocean of
Oh
people,
yeah, that's a good analogy.
where it's like you don't stand out anymore, and then
Yeah.
like you're kind of the material's a lot harder to learn, and you struggle sometimes, and then you've never ever had to ask for help on something, so you kind of don't know how, and then you just struggle more and
Mm.
kind of have to humble yourself.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I had
Hell
to
yeah.
do. And then I guess I'll get into it to the next question, but like the health, my health.
I was literally
like,
just
took a
thinking that, you read
turn
my
for-
mind.
Yeah,
turn
yeah.
for the worst. So yeah, I'll talk about it in the next question. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's mostly my experience
Yeah.
transitioning.
I think I think for me, because like the first kind of three things we're thinking of, because you're talking about like taking time off for jobs, I think that the three main factors for me was distance,
yeah,
money, and then obviously difficulty of material. So like when I first went, like when we're all in high school, we actually live pretty relatively close to our high schools. Like you don't live more than like a 10-15 minute drive,
Yeah.
or like
because
you're put
by district.
yeah,
yeah.
or like you're like it's like a 20-minute bus ride to there.
Yep.
Whereas like in university,
home.
like most of the time, if you're not living like close to the university,
If this prestigious university is in this location, and if you don't live by it, then you're fucked.
dude, then you're fucked. And
Yeah.
it's like for a lot of us, because a lot of us were like a little bit of lower income, so we all lived in the Northeast. And all of the universities are actually here in the Northwest where I live now. So it takes like an hour and a half
Yeah.
to get from the Northeast to
So
the
transit
Northwest.
system sucks.
Our transit system also is some
Where's the
dog
green
doo-doo.
line?
Oh,
Yeah, but
Okay.
like I think the big thing was for me was distance. Like it was just a huge time sink. Like you just didn't have a lot of time, and you needed to prepare like very ahead of time. But yeah, that was like one of the biggest changes for me. And then two was money. Like you are never ever prepared. Like you are broke. Don't get me wrong. You are broke in high school, but you will never ever be on the level of broke
I don't know
in
how you
university.
get more broke. Like
oh,
Like-
university was. Oh man.
Dude, like being broke in university is it's like so hard. It is so difficult because not only in high school, a lot of things are like taken care of for you.
yeah.
But in university, nothing is taken care of for you. And not only do you have more debt, but you're still broke.
Yeah.
Like student loans will cover like a lot of your books and stuff like that, but you're still broke.
And the cream
So it's like,
barbecue.
yeah, yeah, and it's just
The
like,
cream
it's like,
barbecue.
fuck, like I've never been like this, like I've never felt like this student poverty in my life. Like
Yeah.
this shit sucks.
Skipping meals and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
skipping meals, like eating at school, like eating super expensive cafeteria food at school, and like,
You have
just
to
like,
make that shit last for the whole day.
bro, it's so tough,
That's
bro.
your good cream barbecue. That's
That's
2 meals, bro.
exactly
right.
You
That's
have
right.
it. So I guess a good
If you know,
context,
you
like,
know.
Yeah.
at the university that we all went to at one point.
We all went to
Yeah.
UFC at one point.
There's like this like Korean barbecue place that has like at the time it was like $10, and you like 2 pieces of big ass chickens, 2 scoops of rice, and like 2 sides. But they put
And
a
2
l-
beef as well.
Dude, they put
Yeah.
a huge enormous
So
amount
you
on
can
there.
like, and the thing is like it's like heavy. It's
It's
not like
so heavy.
and so basically you could basically eat like 1/3 of it and be like satiated. Like
Yeah.
it was
Low-key, I might have to go to UFC just to try it one time.
Yo.
I'm kind of missing it. It's for like $14.
I
now.
can like taste it, bro.
Yeah. But the problem was that like I guess maybe for me specifically, like even though I was skinny, I ate a lot more at the time. Even though that you could last that for 2 meals, I ate that shit in like 30 minutes, all of it,
Yeah,
and
Yeah.
just move on my day. And like, bro, I gained so much weight.
dude.
Yeah, like, unhealthy
much.
weight. I was broke. Was it also like I never had a cavity before, but I was like because university I was spending like from dawn to dusk just studying and not even thinking about like brushing teeth or showering
Yeah.
whatever. Which was the very first time because I used to like be like, oh, I used to shower twice a day and be very like rigid with everything. I just like let go of myself and like
Yeah.
go to the dentist like, yeah, you got 5 of them. Like, dude, what the fuck? Like, what
Yeah,
happened?
I got cavities in uni too.
Mad
Yeah.
cavities, gained a lot of freaking weight.
Yeah.
Like, when I was in university, I went from weighing like, essentially I was like 180, 190 pounds in high school, like around there. And then like at the end of university, like after leaving COVID, I was like 250, bro. I gained like 60 pounds, like when I was like going to UFC. It was
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, on my first year was my worst year in university because I guess like the culture shock kind of played into like my deterioration of my health as well. Um, so like I was studying at school till like 9 p.m. and stuff like that, and
Yeah.
eating cafeteria food, and I was just because I still thought I had my high school metabolism. Um,
Hell no.
So I'd be eating like Korean barbecue and fucking Bake
Carl's
Chef
Jr.'s.
and yeah, Carl's Jr. Yeah,
A&W, there's an A&W.
there's
in,
an A&W, and
UC?
then like I would have Tim's every day.
Fuck.
And then
Make it
my
so
Tim's
easy
order
for
was
you.
like a double and like a honey cruller every day.
Oh, sweet.
Every
bro.
day, bro.
And-
And,
and-
you're at school for 5 days a
And
week.
and then occasionally, if I was super tired at the end of the day, I was like, you know what, I deserve a sweet treat. I would go to DQ.
DQ, because there's a DQ
There's
there.
a fucking DQ there,
Fuck.
and I would get the sundae with the cookie.
Fuck. Fuck.
A fat ass. What the hell? That's
And then
crazy.
My weight at the end of at the middle of first year was like I was 180,
Damn, bro.
and for my height, that is like overweight. So I actually went to the doctor, and yeah, he basically called me fat.
yeah. He's like, you're obese, bro. Like,
He didn't even call me fat. He called me unhealthily fat, and he put me on like blood pressure medication and stuff like that.
no, that's when you know it's serious. When he puts you on blood pressure medication.
I don't know if that was just to scare me into like changing my lifestyle, but I actually like started going to the gym after that.
Yeah.
Started bringing food from home, and yeah, and then like started my change my habits. So that was kind of like my freshman 15 story. It was more like freshman 20. So I kind of let go of myself in first year a little bit,
Bro,
and
like
that's kind of just like the learning experience.
Yeah.
trying to communicate with the younger generation, like, because like when you see someone who's like gonna be young and maybe they're into sports, let's say they do like basketball or football or maybe we know a lot of dancers, right?
Yeah.
And I see how fit they are, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, and that they get to go to post secondary. I'm just like,
Oh man,
I
you don't even know.
I don't know how. Like, I wish I could like transfer my experience and put it in your brain because I'm really warning you. Because when I see them eat like shit. And
Yeah,
like,
they eat like
I-
garbage, bro.
And I'm like, I don't know. It's like I don't know. You're trying to warn someone about some great disaster, right? But
Yeah.
they just like won't listen. Like I don't know. Like you're going insane. It's like, dude, like trust me. Like you need to fix your like eating. and you
Yeah.
sound like the same people that warned you, and you like just didn't really comprehend what they're
Yeah,
saying.
yeah.
And then like, you're eating shit. Then you're like gaining weight and like you're breathing heavy, and like when you go up the stairs,
Yeah.
you're like, oh my goodness, what happened?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I can't stress enough how like the freshman 15 is really much a thing. For those of you maybe who are a lot younger, like going to post secondary, or even if like you kind of experienced this, like, dude, like if you can make an option to be healthier, like just like really build that habit. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nutrition's super big, and like just being healthy in general in university is super important. It's a skill that you have to learn because as you get older, it's really hard to lose that weight. I will say, like, because I didn't lose the 250 until like recently in these last couple of years. And it was really hard to put it off because it's like old habits die hard, bro.
Old habits die
It's
hard.
so tough.
I can't
Like,
just eat a McChicken.
yeah,
Like 5
bro.
McChickens at fucking 1 a.m.
Dude, I can't
With
eat
Lord
I can't
Coke.
eat a Big Mac for like, just like a
Yeah.
midnight snack, like, yeah.
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 I think for me, like the reason why I got so fucking fat is because like in high school I was like dancing a lot, right? So like a lot
Yeah.
of
Oh,
cardio,
yeah.
a lot of like, you know,
You're
like
also a
working up
lot
to
younger,
calories, a lot
right?
younger, but you don't know how quick that like switches up on you because like in university you're like less active, you're sedentary more of the time, you're sitting and studying. So
Because I feel like me and Ronald got the weight gain slightly after you because we were dancing heavy.
yeah,
I
Yeah.
remember being very thin, like very skinny. Like I
Yeah.
was not eating right at all.
Yeah.
And like the amount of workload we were doing was just physically like, what do we do? Like push-ups, like cardio, and
Dude,
then
I don't know. It was a
weight.
full fucking P90X workout
And
every
then
time we
another
fucking
round
walked
of
into the
cardio.
studio, bro.
So doing 4 hours of cardio, like, oh, we need to stay overtime because we need to get this number down, so you're staying longer. Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
point is like,
I love dance. Dance is life.
Just so much. Like I was talking to Karen about this. How like, we were doing insane amounts of cardio, like insane amount. And so like when we stopped and like our eating was still the same, but we're just had like less cardio.
yeah.
Just
Yeah, bro.
yeah, just SpongeBob.
Yep.
Like, yeah, with water in him. Like it was crazy. Which like again, like I'm not saying it's bad to necessarily have like some weight, but it was like just the amount of change in the
In a short amount of time.
yeah, such a short amount of time was kind of a
Yeah.
it was a culture shock kind of
Yeah.
to get adjusted to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I would say like we're talking about physical health now, but also your mental health
Ooh.
is a big part as well.
Dude.
Because
Dude.
like I was mentioning earlier, like if you were getting high grades in high school or something and then you go into university, the material's much harder and you're like not doing so good in classes and stuff and you're kind of beating yourself up over that. Or if you're not getting like a 4.0 GPA, like dude, it doesn't really fucking matter at the
Dude,
end
it
of the day.
doesn't. It really doesn't.
Which
'Cause,
starts to see it gets yeah.
Yeah, like like the saying C's get degrees, that's actually so true.
It's true.
Because like if you for example if you're like doing if you don't focus so much on studies and you do more extracurriculars, employers will see your like your with three GPA as still respectable, but you are actually someone who contributes to your community and you do stuff outside of school and you're an actual human, they'll hire you over that 4.0 GPA that
The power of
just
being
in the-
likable
Yeah.
is something that is taken for granted. I think a lot
Yeah.
of people maybe expect that likability comes from just being like having a lot of
Friends.
knowledge.
having all knowledge, which like
Oh.
unfortunately people don't treat smart people. It's like
No.
yeah, like I guess some people might make fun of you, you're a nerd, but like having good social intelligence per se,
Yep.
or just being socially compatible with a lot of people does help. And I think it's very important to make sure you're having a personality in university
Mhm.
because you can hate these books, but if you're kind of a loser, like it does.
If you're a
affect-
robot.
Yeah.
it does affect you as an adult.
Like,
Like, if you got bullied in high school, like just try to get over it. Like
Mhm.
you need to lock in, dude.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, no offense, sorry.
Yeah. To build on that, I think like especially if you're in STEM, you got to be prepared to fail. Like
Oh,
yeah.
I've never failed like so many tests and quizzes in my life. Well, when I was in STEM, like that shit was fucking hard. Like, dude, I will say like now that I'm in kind of a more creative technology role, which like I love, but like when I was in like hard STEM, like and I'm sure Jason can attest to this because we actually took a couple undergrad classes together.
Oh yeah,
Like shit,
bio,
shit,
Greek and Roman studies.
bio, Greek and Roman,
Oh,
and then I
Greek
think
and
we took a
Roman?
chemistry class together.
We did. You're right, yeah.
That shit was fucking hard,
Yeah, that shit was hard.
and you need to be 100% prepared to fail because these first year classes are actually 100% meant to weed you out if you're weak
Yep.
Yeah, I think
and
it's
like not committed.
common knowledge that they're meant to they're hard on purpose, so they kind of weed the people who don't actually want to be there or are incapable of being there.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
mean it worked because I'm not in STEM anymore. But and I will say to like build upon that, especially now that I'm in my last year and like getting ready to be in the workforce, networking who you know and being a likable person is so much more important than like what you do in class because
Mhm.
I am a early adopter of like this
Early adopter.
program, and I also like and like I will say like the quality of teaching sometimes isn't the greatest, but what I will say is like what gets my foot in the door a lot is shaking a lot of hands and being
Kissing
a very
babies.
likable
Stroking a
person.
bunch of cocks.
Yeah, stroking a bunch of cocks,
Banging
eating a
assholes.
bunch of booty holes.
I'm sorry, dude.
Carry
But
on.
yeah, like at the end of the day, especially if you're trying to become a more corporate facing employee or just a corporate facing role,
A girl boss.
a girl boss
Yeah.
like I am, you need to shake a lot of hands and you need to be like you just need to, if being a personality hire is actually like so real.
It
Like,
is so real.
It's so
is so
real.
real.
A lot of my jobs also got from referrals from friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's the one thing that's like not talked about. Like I don't have any data on this, like of how many people got the job from referral, but I find that most people I talk to, at least in our city, like wherever they got a job, like yeah, I was referred by like
This person,
This
X, Y, and Z.
person, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Of course, if you need to get higher levels, that's where we really recommend post secondary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where we
Yeah.
can read the importance of that. But for like most jobs, like dude, just don't be an asshole.
Yeah.
You know?
Make lots and lots of friends.
Yeah.
Network a ton, be likable, and you will get a job. I 100% guarantee you. They're going to take you like as long as you're passable, that 3.0 GPA is going to do you so much more wonders than if you were to have that 4.0. Because at the end of the day, graduating with distinction and graduating in general doesn't really matter to a lot of employers.
No.
Some of them
doesn't.
don't check your GPA. Like, they just want to see
Yeah.
if you have the certificate.
Yeah,
just
they
have
just
the
want to
degree,
see
yeah,
if you
or
have
degree,
the
diploma, or whatever.
accreditation. Like
Yeah.
most of them are just like, oh, like you got it, cool,
Yeah.
all right. Well, you know,
What else do you do?
You know-
Yeah,
Yeah.
you forklift
you know, Mark in
certified.
Mark in accounting.
Yeah.
Shit, okay, you're hired. Like
Yeah.
that's how it works most of the time.
I know for us specifically, because I think all of us, even if we detour a little bit, we're pretty structured per se. Like I use quotations. I asked this in the last time before the footage got lost, but like, what is your guys' advice for people who you consider like we can like free spirited who like don't
Oh,
like I can't even remember what I said during that time, but like someone who like I just school's not for me. Someone who just maybe
Yeah.
doesn't have a routine. Maybe like everything we're saying just doesn't ring to
Mhm.
them. Like how would you? Maybe we're not the people to give them advice, but how would you? Like,
Yeah.
What would you say to them?
I said this in when we recorded this last time, but my boss is actually one of those free spirited people. He quotes himself as saying he's 36 now, but I find it so weird sometimes when he says this. But he's like, "Oh, I was such a bad kid," and I'm like, okay, bro, like you got that, bro. My boss is white, by the way, but just
He's
to
a
make that
bad
100% clear. So it's like he's a bad white kid in Calgary. You can not put those two puzzle pieces together. So that's why he's very free spirited. But he's now an entrepreneur. He's a business owner. So I will recommend to a lot of these free spirited people, do what you want, do what you can, and then look into entrepreneurship when you're
Yep.
a little bit more mature and you have like your feet under you.
I think that's like I don't have any, but like that's like a very common for people who are like very like this
Yeah.
that usually do end up becoming an entrepreneur. Like people who don't really like do well under like high command and high
Mhm,
stress
mhm.
environment, or like just very like rigid.
Super structured, super rigid, super traditional.
Very
types of-
entrepreneur shit,
yeah. Because I will say, like, I met a lot of people who did trades, and trades in
Yeah.
itself is actually very structured. Because it's like you essentially work under someone to do a
Your
specific
apprentice,
job,
and then
your apprentice and that. But most of the free spirited people go into trades and then end up starting their own business and
Yeah.
becoming an entrepreneur that way. And like, so I will say, if you are free spirited, take up skills, learn as many skills as you can, and then try to turn those skills into something that's more tangible and that you like want to do as a career. Because I think that for my boss, he was always in retail, always loved clothing, always was a very creative minded person, and then turned that into, starting his own clothing brand and
Mhm.
starting his own store. So a lot of people I will recommend, like, take the skill that you currently have, take the skills that you currently really like. Say it's like, I don't know, say you really, really love the trumpet right now, and you just don't want to go to school for music. Like, keep doing the trumpet, keep learning, and then maybe, I don't know, become a teacher and then start your
Yeah.
own, I don't know, trumpet
Academy.
company or
Yeah.
academy or some shit like that, right?
Yeah.
So, you know,
Yeah, take a case by case basis. Because like for me specifically, taking things like on the fly can stress me out a lot. Like I need to have a game plan.
Yeah.
Because meeting people who kind of just like their credit cards maxed out and they just like don't care.
fuck.
That
Fuck.
stresses me out. And like I always try to peer in their mind of like what can work for them. Because like for some reason they just next thing I know, like they're a lash tech, and then next thing I know, they either like own a business or they're doing like hard cocaine. Like it's never like consistent.
Yeah.
So like
Yeah.
It's always something different.
yeah,
Yeah.
but these are
Live in
still
the
people,
anarchy.
right? And like
Yeah.
we kind of have a very like structured kind of way of living, at least here in Canada, Alberta. Just kind of like you do your high school, you kind of go to university, right? So, yeah, to me, I was like, I feel sometimes I feel sorry for them. Like, yo, like I feel like society isn't built for you, not in a derogatory way, but it's like it kind of seems like things like
It's like working against you almost.
yeah, working
Yeah.
against
yeah,
you.
Working
Because
against
like
you.
my advice was very very biased. Like just you can even do like a 1 year program, something very short, like low committal, just so you have something on your belt. So if in case like you're kind of struggling with money, whatever, like you have that certificate.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because I mean you don't have to do it for your degree. I think that's one thing that
Yeah.
if you have a parents who are very strict, like no, you need to become a nurse or you need to be a doctor and
Mhm. 4 years is really committal. 4
yeah,
years is a long
and
time,
you're
It's a
being
bro.
long
dead.
time.
And
A lot of money.
that's also gonna hold you down if you want to do some fun stuff. So if you're into like doing fun stuff as like someone who's more loose cannon or fear spirited, as we kind of articulate, you know, you don't have to do a 4 year kind of
Mhm.
program or
Yeah.
certificate or
Yeah.
degree. Yeah.
Yeah. I would tend to agree with Ron. Like, just focus on skills. Because like even people who like our barber, shout out 98 Cuts.
Yeah,
Um,
Tony.
So I think he just like he learned haircutting in
It was like,
Cosmo.
dude, yeah, he learned
In-
haircutting in Cosmo, and he went to
He's-
school at SAIT at
Yeah.
first. Yeah, I remember.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Now he has his own like his own business, and this guy's popping. So yeah, I mean like yeah, just focus on skill. Like you don't necessarily need like a degree or a diploma. Yes, it's nice to have like something to show for, but those skills can be anything. To be honest, like the trumpet was a good example. Like you'd be like a piano teacher or fucking
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, focus on skills. Eventually turn that into a business. And then maybe when you do have a business, maybe you're like, oh, maybe I'll take up some online classes to know how to market or to know how to
Mhm.
run a business properly and get
Yeah.
your education that way. Could also be an option, but
I mean, entrepreneurship is a very it's a skill. It's a skill that's worked upon, right?
Mhm.
I've never done entrepreneurship, so
Yeah.
like yeah, but I mean,
it's a lot of risk.
a lot
yeah,
of
but
risk. But I mean, if you
high
like-
risk, high reward.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
if you like risk and having your balls tied to a chainsaw, then
Hell yeah.
go for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. How do you guys? Because I took us student loans for university.
Me too.
Me too.
How'd you how'd you guys
A
find
lot of
yourself
debt.
like just going day by day, knowing you're broke? I mean, sure, like you will get money eventually, but like during university, how was it like being broke in university? Like, how was that for you guys?
Man. I think in general, like, it teaches you a lot more about budgeting, and also like the amount of just like debt you're taking on becomes a lot more tangible towards the end. In the beginning, you're like, oh, like I'm gonna just take out student loans, I'm gonna be good at the end, you know. But like as soon as you kind of start to get towards the end of your schooling career, you're like, oh shit, I actually got to go out and get a job so that I can pay all this off. You know what I mean? And like living how I live now, because I actually work full time and go to school. And that supplements a lot of my income. But when I was a broke college kid, when I first went back, I think it was really hard because it was like you don't really build good spending habits as being a high schooler going into
No.
university.
don't.
So it's like you don't really know budgeting. You don't
Chew
really
your
understand
chickens
how
every
much
day.
money you're spending.
They're
Like,
expensive now. They're not.
yeah, right. Like it's just like,
Fucking $3.
They're
like-
not Brookwood meals anymore.
dude, yeah. So I would say like just living broke sucks. And I honestly understand it. So I think my best advice would understand how much you're genuinely spending, like every day in university, especially because you're going to be at that institution for a really long time, especially if you're doing a 4-year degree. You're gonna be there every single day. So you gotta learn how to budget your money, especially when it comes to a student loan, because yeah, sure, it's a lot of money at first, but that money runs out quick throughout the semester.
Yeah.
And like I would also
I'm
really,
really
really
student loans buy
yeah.
Yu-Gi-Oh cards or something.
yeah,
Or
exactly.
a car.
Yeah. I would really, really recommend getting a job while you're in university.
Yep.
Even if student loans are coming in, get a job.
Get a
Work
job.
at
In
least
this economy,
work a couple hours on the weekend. I know it's really hard. I know you're gonna be super tired all the time,
Sell some
but
few pigs.
trust me, it will help you in the future.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, I agree about getting a job because I did it. I mean, it depends on the place you're working too, because it has to be really flexible in times of like exams or something where you can just book off anytime.
Fast food.
Yeah, McDonald's.
So bad. So bad.
For me, like, it's just I mean, I was working, so like I wasn't too
You weren't too
broke, but I still had to, like, for example, for textbooks. I don't remember what that store was called in UFC, but like I just bought secondhand or from Facebook Marketplace.
Facts.
Um,
Facts.
And then like for getting to school, you would carpool. If it was cold and we didn't want to take transit, you would carpool and like split the parking fee between all of us.
That was good. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I like started bringing like food from home for lunch and stuff like that. Obviously, living at home really helps.
So much.
If you have
'Cause-
that privilege to use it,
Yeah.
I really recommend it.
Yeah, because like living on res, it's like you like doubling your tuition almost
Yeah.
every
Yeah.
semester. Yeah, other than that, just I agree with Ron. Like, get a job.
Yeah.
If it's a job on campus too, because like some campuses hire students, that would be even better because then you don't have to like travel to too many places.
Oh.
Save gas as well
And time.
and time.
Yeah.
Use your because I at UFC at least they give you a free bus pass.
Yeah. Same with state.
Yeah, I think same with all of the
I think
other.
most
yeah,
Yeah.
most
Most universities now.
Yeah, so they give you a free bus pass, so just take advantage of that. Saves on gas, saves on
Foods.
insurance, I guess too.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's lots of tips and tricks to save money, but you just got to be disciplined with it.
Yeah. I think, because for me, I think when you're in your first university, I don't think you really have the capacity to really be disciplined with saving money. I really
No.
wish I did this when I was, in my first university. Is downloading budgeting apps. There's some that automatically track your spending.
Yeah.
It basically links to your bank account. Of course, some people don't trust them. I mean, I've never had a problem with them, but of course, just do a few Google searches to see what works, right? And then secondly, ones that also take a little bit of money out of your bank account and put it into like the app per se. I mean, I use one of them, and to me, it's nice because like it takes like $5 a week, and next thing I know, I have like money to spend for something.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's very good, especially like when you finish school and you need money to help pay off your loans, and you haven't like people don't manually just like, oh, every paycheck I'm gonna take 5%. Like
No,
you
it's
can
hard.
say that, and I'm pretty sure there are people that do that, but I don't think either myself or these guys or most people are able to just want to do that. So it's kind of good to have an automatic system that does that, so you don't spend that money. Yeah, I kind of wish I just had a budgeting app when I was kind
Yeah.
of university. How'd you guys find like finding free time? Oh, you were dying. How was it for you guys like finding like free time to have fun? Because like I know university takes a lot of
Yeah.
time. Like,
Yeah.
how'd you guys find it to like make time? Or, like, how difficult was it, or how
Okay.
easy was it? per se?
Ooh, okay.
Let me
Very,
know.
very big hot take because I went through this and I had a lot of people tell me that this was possible. But I'll tell you this right now. If you are very committed to like dancing or a sport or whatever. Um,
Give up on your dreams. I'm just kidding. I'm
I
kidding. I'm
wouldn't
kidding. I'm
necessarily
kidding. I'm
give up
kidding.
on your
Let
dreams.
be
I would
dreams.
say really, really scale back. Like,
Mm,
for me, it was really hard to keep the amount of scale that I was doing in high school and trying to pursue my dreams in dance and do school at the same time. I think the one thing I really wish I did was either commit to one or the other, because I would have been in vastly different positions if I just made up my mind.
Yep.
Because university in general does not give you a lot of free time, because we talked about travel, we talked about not having a lot of money. So not having a lot of money, it means you don't have a car anymore.
Yep.
And travel means like, yo, like you're traveling, like that's 3 hours of your day. Because if it takes you an hour and a half to get to school, you got to go there and back. That's 3 hours of your day just
plus
gone,
traffic.
right?
Yeah.
Plus traffic, right? So it's like you don't have a lot of time anymore. So you really need to learn what you want to scale back. And I'm not saying don't have fun. And I'm not saying don't indulge in like what your hobbies are and stuff. But I'm just saying be really, really, really realistic on what you can and can't do. Don't get me wrong. I want you to like we want you to hang out with your friends. You should hang out with your friends. We just said that networking is super important. And it's like, yes, like having a significant other in university is also very, very possible. Like, if you want to commit that time, definitely do that. But I will say that like relationships, school, work, and hobbies, one of them's gotta take a hit
Yeah,
out
it's
of
very
those four
hard to
categories.
balance all that in university.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I didn't see this guy for like almost my whole degree.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
think I,
like-
I don't think I saw
yeah.
you guys like. Well, I saw Ronald with dance, but after that,
Yeah.
like,
Dance in like the first couple undergrads I did
and
with
the
you.
moment I left dance,
but
like we stopped seeing each other
stopped
until
seeing
like
each other,
we started
yeah.
playing games, and then we linked up again.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, linked
I
up
think
again.
COVID was like a good reset to like.
Yeah, because that's when I saw Vincent. You.
Also,
Yeah.
it's a wake up call too, because I was like, oh fuck, I've been dedicating my life to being miserable.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was one of those wake up calls. Sorry, you want to answer the question?
No,
real
no,
quick?
go ahead, go ahead.
Well, what I'm doing right now, at least, being a little more effective with studying, I find that sometimes, like, even if you're someone who's a perfectionist, like what I've been doing for classes that are a lot more trivial, I just use Quizlets. Like, I don't think-
GRST.
yeah, just like stuff. Yeah, like I find that I don't know if like the saying like work smarter not harder, right?
Yeah.
If there's a way to, I'm not advocating people to cheat or not, but if there's a way to do things a lot easier that makes more time for you,
Yeah.
just take it.
Chegg looks kind of nice sometimes, bro.
Yeah.
Chegg looks kind of nice
Yeah,
sometimes.
and also like
Facebook study groups.
yo, like actually relying on people. Yeah, I mean, I would say that sometimes it is annoying when you have that one person that keeps asking questions. Like, basically, do your stuff
Yeah.
for them. Don't be that guy. I don't recommend for that person. But like, if you can find a way to make things more efficient in terms of studying, make more time for yourself. Secondly, I've at least for me, I feel like I don't know if it was like more of an ego thing of trying to fit everything and do everything just to be this whatever. I remember I was working part time teaching dance. I was working at Cineplex, also event planning at the same time. Also, I was just dating my Karen at the time.
Yeah.
I was doing university, and I was dancing. So like it was just nonstop stuff, and there's stuff that you just don't need to do, and whether like and maybe it's more for younger people who maybe more have a don't realize yet that they maybe have a little bit of a people pleasing stuff. It's like you don't have to impress everyone, and secondly, like you don't have to kind of serve everyone, like do stuff just for the sake of keeping yourself busy. Um, I think I saw this one meme where it's like, I can't believe I used to think like 9 p.m. bedtime was punishment
Yeah.
because all I want to do is rest.
Yeah.
Honestly, like really be okay with resting. I think it's very difficult when you are young and very much like I gotta do stuff because I gotta hustle hard, or like you're in this kind of have this philosophy of like really go get it, right, and you don't allow yourself to enjoy anything. I'm not saying to be lazy or anything, but when you don't need to work, just don't.
Yep.
And just like really allow yourself to do that. Yeah. Because I think the worst thing is to do is fill your plate for no justified reason, and you're gonna burn yourself out. Yeah.
Yeah, for me it was just like like one of them had to go like whatever hobbies, friends, school,
Work.
work.
Now you got mad hobbies after school too.
Yeah.
Like, once you
Right.
finish, yeah.
Yeah. For like effective studying, one of the things that I did actually, which saved me a lot of time, was actually was studying on like transit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I had like a Surface Book at the time, which was kind of like a Microsoft's iPad or whatever the fuck.
I fell asleep, so good for you, man.
And then I was just like doing problems on the bus, and then once I got home, I felt, because my bus ride was like, and train ride was like an hour and a half, so it's like I got an hour and a half studying done. I could just go home and go to sleep, right? Get my rest, or I could also hang out with friends for that 1 hour and a half that I just gained.
Yeah.
And then also, like, I know in university studying will take up a lot of your time, so finding an effective studying method as well as location
Mhm.
can make you study for like less time but more effective versus like studying for a longer time and less effective, I guess.
If you think background noise helps, most likely it doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you
No.
put a TV on, you're gonna. If you put, I don't know, the Secret Lives of Mormons, whatever, you're not gonna focus.
No.
Like,
Yeah. No.
yeah,
no.
I mean, I'm very more like I get distracted very easily.
Me too.
So I think remember one of my psych classes talk about like the benefits of having a clear desk. Like if you're someone who maybe collects figurines or have like a lot of plushies or just stuff like on your desk, or like just because you want to clear it, I recommend having a clear desk and like just not things to fiddle with. I
Yeah.
mean, if you want a fidget spinner, sure, whatever. But I started studying in the library instead of at home
Yep.
because my
Yeah.
bed's right beside my desk. That helped me a lot because when I'm by my desk and I have my computer with the RBG like light ups and then I have my bed right there, it's like, oh, like I have mad distractions. So I mean, and also this is something I also do as well is I stay in the library until rush hour ends.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
so
That's a good
then
one.
I don't have to like waste time exhausted driving or even taking transit through in rush hour, right? So I would basically like stay a little bit of study, and sometimes it kind of gets harder because if you're trying to save money and get food at home, pack lunch, and sometimes I get like a tea or whatnot just to kind of
Yeah.
kill the hunger. But yeah, studying during rush hours, and then when it's kind of calms down, you can kind of go about your
Go home.
day.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
also a big like study in the library person because I feel like setting is super important.
Mhm.
It's like you need to get
Yeah.
into the right mindset of like focusing on a task. The environment needs to be correct too. So
Yeah. I'm a big coffee shop like library person.
Coffee shops are nice. I
Yeah.
never knew like I would always see that one nerdy white dude with the headphones and on like his computer on the coffee
Yeah.
shop.
Yeah.
Like, bro, just go home. But I was like, okay, I
Yeah.
I
it's-
get
I
it.
get it because I'm that
I
guy
get
now.
it.
Like.
yeah, yeah. You're listening to a podcast in
Yeah.
the background, like you can't
Listen
focus.
to this podcast.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
like yeah,
when you're taking a shit.
I will
That's right.
say like environment is a very very big like thing. Like I used to be like, yeah, I can study at home and like do all
It's
that
hard,
stuff,
man.
but
It's
it's
hard.
hard. Like when
got
you
your
gotta
parents
do
yelling at
shit,
you?
bro, it's fuck.
Do the fucking laundry.
Oh yeah, if you're still going home, because I know like for some of my classmates, they have like unfortunately it's very sad. They have like family stuff going on
Yeah.
home.
Very distracting.
I mean, like even if your parents get mad at you for like coming home late, at least you're there in the library. So if they're gonna yell at you anyways, you might as well just
Get yelled at later.
yeah, get yelled at later, so you have some time of peace. I actually find it very nice to be in the library because it's very quiet.
Very quiet.
Yeah. Like I think almost every university has some sort of library. If not, then there might be a library
Multiple
nearby.
libraries.
So like, dude, it I can't stress enough how well it does that. And also just have time for yourself. I find that sometimes it's also peaceful. Even if I'm like I have to catch up a lot, it's like okay,
Yeah.
I have like a little bit to kind of relax on. Yeah, a little time to relax.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right.
I think that's
Yeah,
all. And
cool.
thanks for watching another
Thanks.
episode of the You Good Homie podcast. I
Yeah.
hope you guys learned something new. If you are going to university, do you have any questions or anything, just shoot us a message. We've all been through it.
Yeah.
Or if you did go to university, let us know how your experience was and if you resonated with any of our experiences. But with that, we'll see you next time. Hope you guys have a good day, night, morning, whenever it is where you are. And peace.
Peace.
Bye.
Love
See ya.
guys. Easy.